Hello everyone, welcome back to story time. But if you were watching yesterday, you know it's not story time today. It is rhyme time or poetry time. I can't remember what I said. Anyway, we are currently reading My Mate Joe and Other Rhymes by Terry Tarbox. And if you remember, Terry is the author of the Willy Grews that we read a few weeks ago. So he writes stories and silly little poems as well. And his very talented niece, her name is Wendy, and she has drawn all these fabulous pictures throughout the book. So I'm going to read you some of the poems and show you some of the pictures, and I hope you enjoy them. So let's get on with the next poem. It's called Long, Long Ago. Long, long ago, in a faraway land, all the children had forgotten how to play. Well, that's not good, is it? Their toys were left neglected, lying on the ground. No laughs, no happy shouts. They didn't make a sound. Peter said to Mary, "I wonder what is wrong." Mary said, "I don't know. I can't even sing a song." Oh, I wouldn't like that. I like singing. "I know," said Peter. "Let us scream and shout." But when they tried, Mary cried as no sound would come out. All the children walked about, not knowing what to do. "I can't remember what we did," said Mary. "How about you?" "I can't recall a single game," said Peter, then replied. I'll read that line again. "I can't recall a single game," sad Peter then replied. Then all the little children sat on the ground and cried. Then up came Farmer Hairy Nose, who asked them what was wrong. "Why aren't you playing with your toys? Why don't you sing a song?" "We can't remember how to sing," he heard the children say. "We'd love to dance about, but we've forgotten how to play." Oh, this is a really sad poem. I didn't realise it was this sad. I'm sorry. I hope it gets better. Just then a horrid witch appeared from just behind a tree. The children gasped in fear and fright. The witch said, "Look at me. I have cast a spell on you, and you will play no more. Your noise brought on my migraine and made my poor head sore." The farmer ran towards the witch. He was looking very mad. "I will not let you do this, you ugly-looking hag." He pushed her down. Her hat fell off. He grabbed her by the throat. But with one small wave of the witch's hand, he turned into a goat. Just then a fairy fluttered down. She said, "My name is Toots." They couldn't help but notice she was wearing hobnail boots. The boots were very heavy, and she landed with a thud. She turned to face the witch and said, "This isn't very good." With swirling wings and rainbow dust, which made the children clap, she cast a spell upon the witch with one almighty zap. The witch ran round in circles, and jumping up and down, she fell into the lake and screamed, "Help! I'm gonna drown!" But as she hit the water, she turned into a trout. She swam away quite gracefully, still angry, there's no doubt. The fairy then turned to the children to lift the witch's spell. A sparkling shower of pink and green upon the children fell. As for Farmer Hairy Nose, he turned back into a man. His nose no longer hairy. He had to change his name. Now, if you were passing through this place, you'd have to smile and say, how happy all these children are to sing and dance and play. Phew! Oh, I was worried there for a moment. The children had forgotten how to play. And there's that nasty witch. And Farmer Hairy Nose turned into a goat there. And lovely Fairy Toots, who made sure the children could play again. Oh, that's good. I hope everybody's having nice time playing now. We've got some nice weather, so you can play in the garden or you can play some games at home. Yes, please don't forget how to play. Please don't. Oh, it's too much fun to play, isn't it? Okay, now we've got a boy called Jack. A boy called Jack, who had a cough, coughed so hard his head fell off. His head went down a slippery hill and rolled into a flour mill. The miller said, "I found a head. I think I'll turn it into bread." The head said, "No, my name is Jack. I need to get my body back." The miller laughed and said, "Okay, I'll take you back. I know the way." "Be careful, please," the head complained. "Don't run, you're shaking up my brain." Upon the hill the body found, just lying helpless on the ground. The miller put Jack's head back on. Jack thanked the miller, then went home. Now all was well. Jack was delighted, head and body reunited. Oh my goodness, I didn't realise a sneeze could actually cause your head to fall off. Oh, I'm learning a lot from this book, so be very careful if you do sneeze. Make sure everything's still attached. We don't want anybody's head rolling down a hill and being made into flour or bread. Oh, that wouldn't be good, so just be careful. The squirrel hunt. I went on a squirrel hunt with my very best friend Rose. She grabbed a squirrel by the tail and it bit her on the nose. There we go. There's the squirrel. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for biting her on the nose. It's not very nice to have your tail grabbed. 50p. 50p is all I have to spend on me. I could spend it on some treats. I would love a bag of sweets. But Mum would say, don't waste your money. Spend it on some bread and honey. Honey's very good for you. It might protect you from the flu. What to do? What to do? You'd have to wonder, wouldn't you? I know. I'll toss the coin to see which way it lands up for me. Heads for bread, tails for sweets. Each would my desires meet. Oops! I've dropped it down a drain. I'll never see that coin again. Feeling sad, feeling sorry, I miss my money very sorely. Oh no! I'm sneezing too. I think I might have caught the flu. Be careful. We learned a lesson in the last poem, didn't we? About your head falling off. Be careful when you're sneezing. Now that I have lost my money, I wish I bought the bread and honey. I guess I'll have to wander home and tell my mum what I have done. When I got home, Mum dosed me up. She gave me mixture in a cup. She said, now drink it and don't pout. It tasted just like sauerkraut. Mum didn't scold me in the end. She'll wait until I'm on the mend. That's what she did once in the past. I'd better make this illness last. What would you spend your 50p on if you had some money? I'd spend mine on sweets. I do like sweets, or some biscuits, jammy dodgers. I do like a jammy dodger. I think this is a little love story. I do like a love story. There's happy endings there. The Sausage and the Sprout. One day, near our local tip, a sausage met a sprout. They fell in love quite instantly. Of that there was no doubt. Oh, I knew it was a love story. There we go. I like that. Sausage said to Sprout his love, oh, let us run away. Sprout replied, yes, please, my dear, forever and a day. They bounced along so happily, the sausage and the sprout. They crossed a field and found a wood where they hoped they could hide out. Nobody will find us here, I heard the sausage say. We'll build a home together. We'll build a home and never roam. Together we will stay. The sausage and as sausages and sprouts don't eat, no need to search for food, and nobody would eat them here. They'd be happy here for good. But not long after, Sprout fell ill. This made poor Sausage worry. I'll have to fetch a doctor, dear, said he, and ran off in a hurry. He found a vegetable doctor in the yellow pages. He made the call quite urgently, but had to wait for ages. At last the doctor answered, said he'd come out straight away. It's on the NHS now, so you shouldn't have to pay. The doc examined Sprout and said, you're suffering from a fungus. If I don't help, you'll swell and swell. In fact, you'll be humongous. Looking on in anguish, Sausage said, what can you do? I just can't live without my Sprout. I'll be lonely and so blue. The doctor pulled an aerosol from within his leather bag, then sprayed it gently over Sprout, telling Sausage not to nag. They had to wait a little while to see if the spray had helped. Then Sprout started moving, jumped up and down and yelped. Sprout said, I'm feeling better now. And hopping up and down, the Sausage did a little jig. They all danced round and round. They thanked the doctor gratefully. His work completed, he went home, with the sausage and the sprout so happy, never more to roam. Oh, lovely. Oh, I do like a love story. And very well done to the NHS. They're doing an awful lot of good work at the moment. So thank you very much for taking care of us. And thank you very much for taking care of Sprout and making her feel better. So there we go. So there's Sausage and Sprout. They're having a nice play outside, running around. And here we have the lovely NHS doctor who's helping Sprout and making them both very happy. So very well done, NHS doctor. Very proud of you. Okay, our next poem is called Skinny Jim. A boy named Jim was frightfully thin, so they gave him extra dinner. His appetite was very poor, so he just kept getting thinner. His mum had tried most everything, like pork and eggs and custard. She even made ham sandwiches with a little touch of mustard. She had become quite desperate to get something past his lips, so she decided one cold evening to try some fish and chips. Yum, that's one of my favourites. She wrapped up warm and left the house and went to the local chippy. She had to walk quite carefully because the pavements were quite slippy. She fell down once but got back up. She walked a bit and fell down twice, yet holding on to the fish and chips she started skating on the ice. Once she'd got going, she got home fast. Jim welcomed her as she got in. I've bought you fish and chips, my dear. This will stop you being thin. Jim opened the wrapping and looked inside. He sniffed the air and liked what he smelt. This looks quite tasty, he said to his mum. He ate a few chips and declared what he felt. Like eating again, so he got stuck in. Like a thing possessed, he was munching away. He finished it all and looked at his mum. I'd love some more, Mum. What do you say? His mum was excited. He was eating at last. She went back to the chippy and ordered more fast. She had 10 helpings under her arm, so Jim got stuck into his hefty repast. Jim scoffed the food without a pause. When he would stop, there was no telling. His mum started fretting. He was eating too quickly. She was convinced as his stomach was swelling. Out of control now, this food was so tasty. He piled the grub on. His plate was quite loaded. Poor Jim couldn't stop. If his mum hadn't made him, he might have kept eating and would have exploded. I would have exploded though, to be fair. I do like fish and chips. There we go, Lil's place. Yummy. Yeah, so Jim, I understand your dilemma there. Carry on eating or explode. So what are some of your favourite foods that you like to eat? I like fish and chips, and I think I've already said before, jammy Dodgers. I could eat those until I exploded. So there we go. There's a few more poems there from My Mate Joe by Terry Tarbox and his wonderful niece Wendy, who did all the drawings. So we'll be back again tomorrow at 2 o'clock to read some more. I will see you then. Bye-bye.